Hello everyone, Dr. Allan Mandell here. If you are over 50 and especially over 60, muscle loss is not something that happens slowly anymore. It can happen quietly, night after night while you sleep. This condition is called sarcopenia, and studies show that adults can lose up to 1% of muscle mass every single year after middle age if nothing is done. But here's the good news. There is one simple thing you can do every night that has been shown to significantly slow muscle loss, protect strength, and even help rebuild muscle while you sleep. And it doesn't require heavy exercise, supplements, or medications. It starts with what you give your body before bed. As we age, our muscles become less responsive to protein. This is known as anabolic resistance. In simple terms, your muscles don't hear protein signals as well as they used to. That's why many seniors eat during the day, but still lose muscle. The body needs a stronger, longer-lasting signal, especially at night, when repair and regeneration should happen. Every night, something silent and dangerous happens inside the aging body, and most seniors have no idea it's occurring. While you sleep, while the house is quiet, while the lights are off, your muscles are making a decision that will shape how strong or weak you become tomorrow. This is not fear-based storytelling. This is biology. After the age of 50, the human body enters a phase where muscle tissue is no longer protected by default. Studies published in gerontology journals show that adults can lose up to 1% of muscle mass every single year. But what most people don't realize is that a large portion of that loss happens at night. During sleep, when the body runs low on circulating amino acids, it begins breaking down its own muscle tissue to survive. This process is called nocturnal muscle catabolism, and it accelerates rapidly with age. Here's the shocking part. You can eat well during the day, walk regularly, even exercise lightly, and still wake up weaker over time if your muscles are left unprotected overnight. Aging muscles do not store protein the way younger muscles do. This condition is known as anabolic resistance. It means the muscle cells stop responding efficiently to normal protein intake. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition confirms that older adults require a stronger and more sustained protein signal to activate muscle repair, especially during sleep. Without that signal, the body quietly dismantles muscle fibers to maintain blood sugar and organ function. This is why many seniors feel weaker in the morning than they did the night before. It's not imagination, it's physiology. During deep sleep, growth hormone is released. This hormone is responsible for tissue repair, muscle regeneration, and metabolic health. But growth hormone cannot build muscle out of nothing. It requires amino acids in the bloodstream. If those amino acids are not available, the hormone has no raw material to work with. Instead of rebuilding muscle, the body shifts into survival mode and pulls amino acids from existing muscle tissue. This is muscle loss happening while you sleep, night after night, year after year. What makes this even more dangerous is that muscle loss doesn't just affect strength, it affects balance, blood sugar control, joint stability, immune function, and even brain health. Research from the National Institutes of Health shows that reduced muscle mass is directly associated with increased fall risk, slower recovery from illness, insulin resistance, and loss of independence. Muscle is not cosmetic tissue, it is a metabolic organ, and when it disappears, health declines rapidly. Now here is where the story changes. Science has discovered that timing protein intake can dramatically alter what happens overnight. Not supplements, not extreme diets. Timing. Studies involving older adults show that consuming slow-digesting protein before bed significantly increases overnight muscle protein synthesis. This means the body shifts from breaking muscle down to rebuilding it, even during sleep. One landmark study demonstrated that seniors who consumed protein before sleep experienced greater muscle preservation than those who consumed the same amount earlier in the day. Why does this matter? Because nighttime is when the body is most vulnerable. As blood sugar drops during sleep, cortisol levels can rise. Cortisol is a stress hormone that actively breaks down muscle tissue. Seniors are especially sensitive to this effect. Without protein available, cortisol wins. Muscle is sacrificed. But when protein is present, cortisol's damage is reduced and muscle tissue is spared. This is not speculation. This is measured hormonal data. Another critical factor is amino acid availability. Leucine, a key amino acid, acts as a molecular trigger for muscle preservation. Older adults require more leucine than younger individuals to activate muscle repair pathways. Without enough leucine at night, those pathways remain silent. the muscle does not get the message to rebuild. Instead, it shrinks. Over time, legs weaken, grip strength declines, posture collapses, and simple activities like standing from a chair become difficult. And here's the heartbreaking truth. Most seniors don't notice muscle loss until it's already advanced. Muscle disappears quietly. There is no pain, no warning signal. By the time weakness is obvious, significant tissue has already been lost. This is why sarcopenia is one of the most underdiagnosed aging conditions in the world, but it is also one of the most preventable. By supplying the body with slow-digesting protein before sleep, amino acids remain available in the bloodstream for up to 7 hours. This sustained release protects muscle tissue during the most vulnerable phase of the day. Instead of waking up depleted, the body wakes up preserved. Over weeks and months, this simple nightly habit can slow, stop, or even partially reverse age-related muscle loss. This is not about building large muscles. This is about survival strength, the strength to walk confidently, the strength to avoid falls, the strength to recover from illness, the strength to remain independent. The science is clear. Aging does not cause muscle loss by itself. Neglecting nighttime muscle nutrition does. Every night you go to bed without protecting your muscles, your body makes a withdrawal from your strength account. And once that account is empty, it is very difficult to rebuild. But when you give your body what it needs before sleep, you stop the withdrawal and start the repair. This is why what you do at night matters more than what you do during the day, because muscle loss doesn't sleep, and now, neither should your prevention. There is a reason scientists now call nighttime nutrition the missing link in senior muscle survival, and it centers around one overlooked truth. Not all protein behaves the same inside the aging body. When the lights go off and the stomach empties, fast-digesting proteins disappear from the bloodstream within hours, leaving muscles defenseless for the rest of the night. This is where slow-digesting protein becomes life-saving tissue. Clinical research has revealed that the type of protein consumed before sleep can determine whether muscles are repaired or quietly dismantled before morning arrives. Casein protein, found naturally in foods like cottage cheese, is fundamentally different from most proteins seniors eat during the day. Unlike whey or plant proteins that digest quickly, casein forms a gel-like structure in the stomach. This slows digestion dramatically, releasing amino acids steadily for 6 to 8 hours. This matters because the aging body does not tolerate long protein gaps. Studies using tracer amino acids have shown that older adults experience significantly higher muscle breakdown during overnight fasting compared to younger adults. In simple terms, seniors burn muscle faster while sleeping. One controlled study published in the Journal of Nutrition demonstrated that older adults who consumed casein protein before bed increased overnight muscle protein synthesis by more than 20% compared to those who went to sleep without protein. That increase occurred without exercise, without supplements, and without medication. The only difference was what entered the body before sleep. This tells us something powerful. Muscles are listening at night. They are waiting for instructions. At the center of this process is an amino acid called leucine. Leucine acts like an ignition key for muscle preservation. Without it, muscle repair pathways remain dormant. With it, they turn on. Aging muscles require higher leucine levels to activate the same pathways that younger muscles activate easily. Casein protein provides a sustained leucine signal over several hours, which is exactly what older muscle tissue needs. Short protein spikes fail. Long signals succeed. But the benefits go beyond muscle building. Nighttime protein intake has been shown to reduce muscle breakdown hormones. Cortisol, the stress hormone that peaks during the night in many seniors, accelerates muscle loss. Elevated cortisol is associated with weaker legs, thinner arms, and slower recovery. Research shows that providing protein before sleep blunts cortisol's catabolic effects, shifting the body from stress mode into repair mode. This hormonal shift alone can mean the difference between stability and decline. There is also a neurological component that rarely gets discussed. Muscle tissue and the nervous system are deeply connected. As muscle mass decreases, nerve signaling weakens. This leads to slower reflexes, poor balance, and increased fall risk. Casein protein provides amino acids like glutamine and glycine, which support nerve health and neurotransmitter balance. This is why seniors who protect muscle often report improved coordination and confidence while walking. And then there is calcium. Casein-rich foods naturally contain calcium bound to protein molecules, making it more bioavailable. Calcium is essential for muscle contraction. Without adequate calcium, muscles cannot fire properly, even if they are present. This is one reason muscle weakness often accompanies bone loss. The two systems decline together. Supporting calcium intake at night improves muscle contraction efficiency and supports skeletal integrity simultaneously. This dual protection is critical in older adults, where fractures and falls are often life-altering events. Another overlooked benefit is sleep quality. Protein before bed has been shown to stabilize blood sugar levels throughout the night. Blood sugar crashes trigger adrenaline and cortisol release, disrupting sleep and accelerating muscle breakdown. When blood sugar remains stable, sleep becomes deeper, growth hormone secretion increases, and muscle repair accelerates. Better sleep is not just rest, it is regeneration. Growth hormone deserves special attention here. Although its levels decline with age, the body still releases growth hormone during deep sleep. This hormone cannot rebuild muscle without amino acids. Casein ensures that amino acids are present when growth hormone peaks. Without protein, growth hormone is wasted potential. With protein, it becomes a powerful repair signal. The tragedy is that most seniors unknowingly sabotage this process. They eat dinner early, consume little protein, and go to bed believing their body will rest. Instead, their body enters a prolonged fasting state that forces muscle breakdown for survival. Over time, legs weaken, posture collapses, metabolism slows, and independence fades. This is not aging. This is preventable deprivation. Long-term studies show that seniors who maintain higher muscle mass live longer, recover faster from illness, and maintain cognitive function longer. Muscle tissue plays a role in glucose regulation, inflammation control, and immune defense. When muscle is lost, disease risk rises. Protecting muscle is not optional. It is foundational health care. The most powerful part of this strategy is its simplicity. No gym membership, no complicated routine, just understanding biology and working with it. By providing slow-digesting protein before sleep, seniors give their bodies the tools to defend strength during the most vulnerable hours of the day. Night after night, this small action compounds. Muscle preserved tonight becomes strength available tomorrow. Strength maintained tomorrow becomes independence preserved next year. And independence preserved is dignity protected. This is not about adding years to life. It is about adding life to years. Because the body is always adapting. And what you give it before sleep decides whether it adapts towards strength or weakness. There is a final piece of the muscle loss puzzle that science calls the point of no return, and it has nothing to do with how much protein you eat or how often you exercise. It has everything to do with consistency, timing, and the quiet daily habits that decide whether muscles adapt or disappear. Research shows that the body does not respond to single actions. It responds to patterns. And for seniors, the difference between strength and frailty is often decided by what happens repeatedly, night after night, over months and years. One of the most shocking findings in aging research is that muscle loss accelerates not because the body cannot build muscle, but because it stops receiving regular signals that muscle is needed. Scientists call this use it or lose it physiology. Muscles are expensive tissue. They require energy, nutrients, and hormonal support. When the body senses inconsistency, days of movement followed by long inactivity, protein one night and none the next, it chooses efficiency over strength. It begins dismantling muscle fibers to conserve resources. This is why sporadic effort fails. A study following older adults over several years found that those who consumed adequate protein inconsistently lost nearly the same amount of muscle as those who consumed too little protein overall. The body does not average inputs, it reacts to the weakest link. Miss enough nights without muscle protection and the body adapts downward. Strength fades not dramatically, but permanently. This is where nightly routine becomes more powerful than any supplement or exercise program. When seniors create a predictable signal, light movement during the day followed by nighttime muscle nutrition, the nervous system, endocrine system, and muscular system align. The brain learns that muscle tissue is required for survival. Hormones adjust, enzymes increase, muscle protein synthesis becomes more efficient. Over time, the same amount of protein produces more muscle preservation than it did weeks earlier. This phenomenon is called adaptive sensitization, and it is one of the most hopeful discoveries in aging science. In simple terms, the body relearns how to hold on to muscle. Another overlooked factor is inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation increases with age and directly interferes with muscle repair. Inflammatory molecules block anabolic signaling pathways and increase muscle breakdown. Research shows that consistent nighttime nutrition reduces inflammatory stress by stabilizing blood sugar and lowering cortisol. When inflammation drops, muscles regain the ability to respond to repair signals. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. There is also a psychological component that science now recognizes as biological. When seniors maintain a nightly ritual focused on strength preservation, stress hormones decline. The nervous system shifts into parasympathetic mode, the state associated with healing and repair. Stress itself is catabolic. It destroys muscle. Lowering stress is not emotional comfort, it is muscle medicine. Over time, something remarkable happens. Muscle fibers that were once shrinking stabilize. Motor units, the connection between nerves and muscles, become more efficient. Balance improves. Reaction time sharpens. These changes are measurable. Studies show improvements in grip strength, walking speed, and chair rise ability in seniors who follow consistent muscle support routines, even without increasing exercise intensity. These are not cosmetic gains. These are survival metrics. And then there is the compounding effect. Muscle preserved today allows more movement tomorrow. More movement tomorrow improves insulin sensitivity. Better insulin sensitivity reduces fat infiltration into muscle tissue. Healthier muscle tissue responds better to protein. The cycle reverses itself. Decline turns into maintenance. Maintenance turns into resilience. This is why some seniors seem to age rapidly while others remain strong well into their 70s and 80s. Genetics play a role, but behavior plays a larger one. The body responds to what it experiences most often. Nightly neglect teaches the body to let go. Nightly support teaches the body to hold on. One of the most devastating consequences of muscle loss is loss of independence. Research shows that once muscle strength drops below a certain threshold, recovery becomes extremely difficult. Falls increase, hospital stays lengthen, illness recovery slows, each setback accelerates the next. This cascade is known as the Frailty spiral, and it begins silently, years before it becomes visible. But the same science shows that preventing the first step of that spiral is far easier than reversing it later. Nighttime muscle protection is not a short-term intervention. It is a long-term investment. The benefits accumulate invisibly at first, then suddenly. One day you realize you can climb stairs without fear. Another day you notice better balance. Another day you recover faster from fatigue. These moments are not accidents. They are the delayed reward of consistency. What makes this approach so powerful is that it works with the body's natural rhythms. Humans evolved to repair at night. Hormones, enzymes, and cellular processes are all timed to sleep. Ignoring this window is like trying to grow crops without sunlight. Using it correctly changes everything. This is not about perfection. Missing a night will not undo progress, but repeated neglect will. The body keeps score. Every night sends a message. Either muscle is needed or it is expendable. And here is the truth most people never hear. Aging does not steal strength overnight. The body gives it away slowly, in response to silence. Silence from movement, silence from nutrition, silence from routine. When seniors replace that silence with a nightly signal of support, the body listens. And when the body listens, it adapts, because strength is not lost by age alone. It is lost when the body is no longer reminded to keep it, and that reminder begins every single night.